Hello guys, back with another video. So in today's video I just wanted to talk about some of the must-have accessories along with the 3D printer. Most people forget to buy the accessories. They just buy a 3D printer and they think that's it and they don't have to worry about anything else. But actually there are so many other tools that you need along with 3D printing. While printing, before printing, maintenance of the printer, and post printing and post processing of your 3D printed parts. So today I will discuss some of the stuff that I use for my own 3D printer, Creality K1 Max. It's actually a very fairly expensive 3D printer, so pretty much it takes care of a lot of things by itself, but here and there I need to use some of these tools to assist it to make sure it prints better. So if you guys are using a smoother plate, build plate, which the Creality K1 Max comes at this point, you might need a glue stick. The glue stick is just, it can be any kind of glue sticks. Just make sure that people have used it for 3D printing. Just see online what people recommend. Pretty much I think any glue stick should work. So you can apply it over the smooth uh, print bed, heat bed, and then it helps the print to stick better. So that's a very important thing. Currently I'm using a textured plate, so I'm not using this anymore, but in case you guys are using a smooth plate, make sure to have one of those things. It really helps for the print to stick to the bed. And a couple of tools for sanding. So these are some of the hand sanding tools of different shapes I have, and they go into the intricate spaces of my parts wherever the supports are. Sometimes I use tree supports, which is an organic support that kind of goes into the crevices and then gets nicely stuck at times. So I need like these tools to either sand it down or pull it up, or just break the connection, with these tools. And of course, what else I use is I use tweezers. Of course, it comes in very handy. And for handling the filaments, I basically use the pliers that it came with along with the printer. So I just used to chop the filament. And one interesting tip here is, whenever you are inserting a new filament into the uh, Teflon tube, make sure you cut the filament not sharply in a horizontal axis, but rather on a diagonal axis, so that it is sharper. The reason it needs to be sharper or angular, because it can pass through all the bearings and go into the extruder much easily if it has a sharper end. During the initial days of printing it, I cut it blunt, and then it is the thick blunt end, it just hits the bearing and it doesn't go any further, so that's the reason. I spent like several hours, and then later I figured out this could really help. And another tool for post processing is this one. It comes with like a kind of a curved blade. It is not very sharp, of course, but I use this to, if you guys can see this, yeah. So this is what I use uh, to post process my print. It removes the rafts and the brims and sometimes the support materials very easily. For example, this is one of the clamps that I have printed for my 3D printer to hold the upper glass lid, and so I use this to remove the make the supports and rafts go away in a smooth way. It is such a useful tool though. It can just shave off very smoothly, and then you guys can see here like the scraps of it, and then now you can see the edge is like much more sharp, smoother, and it's not sharp. And in this way you can post process your 3D printed parts. I'm really happy with this tool, highly recommended. And of course the next one is like the scraper for popping your 3D prints from the bed. I was using this a lot when I was using a smoother heat bed, and currently when I have the textured one, it basically pops when I bend the bed. It's so easy to take it off. If you have a metal one, you guys can go for it. If you are worried about scratching the build plate, heat plate, you can print yourself a PLA based scraper. So with this you can just bend the bed and pop your prints out. And also please let your 3D prints cool, like 20 minutes to a half an hour, maybe sometimes even more. mm, that helps the print to cure and gain its strength, for the part. Don't remove it when it is really softer. And the next thing is my favorite thing that really helps me out. I live in Poland. It's somewhat humid and cold here, of course many people will know that. So there is a temperature and humidity sensor, so I use this for everything. Here currently the humidity is 70% inside this room, so my printer is behind me. So the thing is, like, I have bought a solution for it to make sure my prints are not absorbing moisture. When I print with PLA, or when you generally print with PLA has the ability to absorb moisture. Because of that, it starts to show it in the printed parts. For example, stringing can happen when it starts to print part of this side on the left side, and then it goes to the right side. There will be a bunch of strings following it around, and then the entire print looks messier and not clean. That's because of moisture absorption. So this helps me monitor it closely. So the solution that I got recently was the Creality 2.0, the heating box, filament dry box or heating box, whatever you want to call it. Not only does it for PLA, it can be used for any material, of course. And it has a hole at the top here. If you guys can see here, I put my filament spool inside, and then I put some silica, dry silica, in case to absorb any moisture that's there inside. And then I set the temperature for the filament and the time. For PLA I use like around 50 degrees, and they also have a guide for every filament how much is the temperature you would like to use. So like anywhere between 50 to 60, I guess, maybe 65 max. Do not go very higher, it will melt the entire spool into the filament drying box, so don't do that. Keep it 50, and then make sure you can increase the time all the time. That's always better. So for PLA they say it's like around 4 hours is enough. I generally do it for like 5 hours, so that I'm pretty sure that the moisture is gone. Once it's gone, and through the hole from this box I directly give it into the Teflon tube and to the extruder. Now my prints are so good actually. Before that, I did not print for a week. Whenever you buy a 3D printer newly, you generally don't print like, like all the time as a like a professional 3D print seller, 3D print farm based seller or something. Like, they have a lot of orders, they just buy printers, start printing it 24 hours. As a consumer and as not as a business, when you buy a 3D printer, probably you might not be printing all the time. So in that case, when you open a spool and then you just let it sit for like several days, sometimes even weeks, without even a single print, in that case this moisture is a huge problem. So yeah, have a dry box. It's really worth it. It'll really help you out. So that's it guys, so see you again with another video. Choose, bye.